Yo, I was listening to the Star Report the other day, and he brought up something I thought was so dope. He said, "Oh man, I got hold on real quick. Y'all see that? It's Old Dirty playing in the background, Brooklyn Zoo. Anyway,
Great.
he said that Queens has the most successful MCs, and I was like, you know what? That's the truth. Queens has the most successful. Like Brooklyn, I think Brooklyn per capita, not to take Talib saying, has the best MCs. But if we talk about the most notable and the most successful, you got Run DMC, you got LL, you got Ja Rule, you got 50 Cent, you got Nas, you got Salt and Pepper, you got Kid and Play. I mean, it's over right there.
As far as the success goes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, the LL50 Nas Run DMC is enough to do you actually.
Yeah, it is. And then you throw Ja Rule in there. Like, we never really talk about, I mean, because I know people talk about record sales and stuff in hip hop. And honestly, I don't think we should anymore. That's why all this game talk about him not selling records, I think, is null and void. But we need to do a borough for borough record sales. And yeah, people saying Q Tip, Mob Deep. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tribe in there, Mob in there.
I was
Honestly,
actually thinking about Q-Tip too.
honestly, man, Long
Hold on.
Island might
Hey,
end up being third.
actually, and think about this: Capone and Noriega too, because of Noriega now with Drink Champs. We're talking about like how your success like spans like in the whole sphere of it. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I
it's
think Nori
valid.
sold some records too.
Who?
I think Nori sold some records too.
Yeah, he's
I
gone
think
gold more than
nothing
a few
was. Yeah,
times. He's
yeah,
got quite a few gold plaques. I think
yeah,
some platinum sitting around in there too.
yeah. Nikki, thank you. Yes,
Oh, it's
yeah,
over.
it's over.
It's
I
over.
think Queens has sold more records than any of the boroughs by far. I don't even think it's close.
I'm thinking just the overall success and the spanning of it. Think about the other things that people like LL and Nas and 50 and Nicki are into that's not in hip hop. That's
Yeah,
what I mean when I think of success. It's like when Nas is becoming like a small time tech giant. 50's into TV and
film.
film.
Yeah,
LL does what he wants when he feels like it.
right. LL does everything. And
Yeah.
LL is the commercial game anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah, and then not to mention again Run DMC. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to think who are the most successful Brooklyn MCs like as far as like outside of just record sales and like you said, just doing everything.
I mean, it's Jay, obviously.
Obviously, and then where do
Cause
you
he,
go?
um, hmm, fascinating. Because Big never really became the success that he should for obvious reasons.
Right? Is it Busta Rhymes or is Busta Rhymes Long Island?
Ask Busta that at this point, but I thought it was Brooklyn with Busta. Be
Busta's
for real.
Jamaica. That's what Busta is.
It's very problematic.
Flipper with the super chat says Mike background looked like the Vibe Death Row cover. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm farther away from my computer. Yeah, this does look like the Death Row cover. I'm kind of digging this background too, man. I figured that I throw the microphone in here as well. Might as well
And I
do
am
that.
wearing red. You are wearing black.
I was actually wearing red before, and then I changed. So yeah,
Feels
that
like
that
Death
would have
Row
really worked.
East. Feels
Death
like
Row
Death Row
East.
East.
We always found a way to have Death Row East in the show. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting, though. Really interesting conversation, and the fact that Queens has the most successful acts. And I honestly would say Long Island might be number two.
I think that might be,
Public Enemy there.
yeah, Rakim,
Rakim. EPMD was very
EPMD.
successful. De La Soul.
I feel
Um,
like we're missing some important
I
people
feel
from
like
Long
we are
Island.
too. I mean, we can count Busta, I guess. Somebody
Because
said Busta is more Long Island, but his roots are in Brooklyn. I thought his roots were in Jamaica. Let me stop.
See, that's what I'm saying. So it's like,
Let
they
me
move around so
stop.
much. Like, Raekwon used to family. He was coming up in Brownsville first,
No,
in
real.
Brooklyn, before they moved to Staten Island. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nas was born in Brooklyn.
Well, shout out to Queens, man. Queens, like I said, I think when we had that debate before, we were talking about the MCs in Brooklyn, but you really don't think about the success of Queens MCs, and I think that's dope. Did you see that poster we had on According to Hip Hop where we matched up the albums from 94, 98, 95, and I think it was 96?
No, I
A lot
didn't.
of people are saying 98 was the year. And let me go down the line real quick.
Or we
Because I know
can.
somebody was talking about 95 wasn't what we were saying it was. Here's what 95 looks like: Mr. Smith, Purple Tape, Liquid Swords, Dirty Version, Dirty's album. You got Do You Want More from the Roots? You got The Infamous. You got Me Against the World. You got Soul Food by Goody Mob. You got Big L's debut album. You got Lab Cab California from the Far Side. The show soundtracks on there actually. 8 Ball and MJG, Sitting on Top of the World. AZ's album is on there. His debut, Do or Die. You got East 1999 on there. You got Group Home's debut on there.
Living Proof.
Yep, Living Proof. And then you got E40 on there. I feel like I'm
In a
missing.
major way.
Yeah,
Is
the
that thing in
major
a
ways
major
on
way?
there. Yep,
With Sprinkle Me.
yep. I feel like I'm missing something still. Hold on. It was a out because I put the show soundtrack on there instead of something else. And I feel like 95 is just super deep. You know what I mean?
Play
Hold
that
on.
98 list. What's that 98 list look
I'm gonna
like?
go to the 98 list. Oh, DJ Quick. That was what we were missing on 95. And you got the Dog Pound in 95 as
Which
well.
book is that? Is that Safe and Sound in 95?
Safe and Sounds in 95.
Ooh,
You
Safe and
got
Sound's a
Dog Food in
banger.
95. You got KRS-One self-titled album in 95.
That's a
95's
banger.
deep as hell, man.
That's a banger. That KRS One and them quick albums, those are bangers.
98 looks like Akumenai, Moment of Truth, Black Stars album, Volume 2. We got Miseducation of Lauryn Hill on there. You got Capital Punishment. You got Redman's Doc's the Name on there. You got ELE from Busta Rhymes on there. You got Dark as Hell and Hot, Hell is Hot by DMX. You got Flesh of My Flesh by DMX. You got Still Standing by Goody Mob. El Nino by Def Squad. Scarface, Homies. You got Capadonna's The Pillage. You got 400 Degrees by Juvenile. And you got Don Cartagena by Fat Joe.
That's not enough.
It's not enough.
That's
See,
not
this is my problem with 94. Let me go through 94. It's very top heavy. 94
It
is The
is.
Diary. You got J. the Damager,
Sunrise in the
Sunrise in the
East.
East. You got Hard to Earn. Then we got UGK with Super Tight. Then you got Illmatic. Then you got Ready to Die. Then you got Main Ingredient. You got Resurrection. Blowout Cone by Diggable Planets. The Thug Life album is on there. We got Takao on there. You got Grave Diggers albums on there. You got Southern Playalistic. You got Redman's There's a Dark Side on there.
That doesn't sound top heavy at all. That sounds great.
It's great.
Sounds better
I
than
don't.
98.
You
That's
think it's better than
98.
98?
90,
Top to
94.
bottom?
First of all, 95 and 98 is not a conversation. 94 and 98 is a more fair conversation, but that 94 shit's better than that 98 shit. Because after you get past Aquemini, it's dark and hell is hot.
What's the weak links on 98?
It's not like there's weak links, Mike, but do you think ELE is comparable to or comparable to the Main Ingredient? Like, keeping it real? You definitely don't have, you have nothing for Illmatic.
I'm gonna be honest, man.
You have nothing for Illmatic.
I'm
You have nothing for Ready to.
I'm disappointed in Busta Rhymes right now, but I'm gonna keep it real. I love both albums. I love ELE and I love Main Ingredient. I might pick ELE over Main Ingredient. That hurts.
Okay,
me.
how about this? How about this? There is a Dark Side or Doc's the Name.
Well, that's There's the Dark Side.
See what I'm saying?
You're right.
What you got for Illmatic? You want to? I mean, Illmatic or
Illmatic
what?
or Akumenai. That's my match for Illmatic. Akumenai.
Okay, still losing. Still losing.
I disagree, but okay.
See, this is what I'm saying. Here's why Illmatic's the greatest rap album ever, because at least on the MC side, how much help did he have?
No, I feel you on that.
One verse from AZ. Everybody's on Aquemini. I mean, I love Aquemini. You know how I feel about it.
No, if we talk about individual performance, I mean, that's hard to refute because what Nas did on the Kuminai, I mean, not Kuminai,
No,
Illmatic is Illmatic. But the Kuminai is a
no,
team effort, and we always talk about the fact that the best albums are made with collectives.
no. Southern Playalistic versus Aquemini, seeing how they came out in 94 and 98. Same thing we did with Redman, we do with Outkast.
That's cool. Kuminai's beating that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, all right. So, what's the solo effort in '98? Volume 2? That's a
Hold
compilation.
on.
Now, I
No,
got
it's
love for
Dark and Hell
Jay
is
involved.
Hot.
Oh, it's Dark and Hell is Hot. That's the
But I have Ready to Die in the stash. That's what I'm saying.
Ready to
Right.
Die would have to go up against Volume
It's
2
the yeah.
or Capital Punishment.
Hey, hold on. First of all, I wouldn't want to do that to either one of those albums that hurt their classic status by playing it next to Ready to Die.
Okay.
For real.
So you're telling me because I'm picking
Volume 2 and Capital Punishment don't even want no smoke with Ready to Die. It's Dark and Hell is Hot and Ready to Die, or is it more of a fair comparison?
I'm picking Moment of Truth
Got
over
nothing for
Hard to
Illmatic.
Earn.
You might as well take that L.
I'm picking Moment of Truth over Hard to Earn. I'm picking
That's
Black
cool.
Star over Super Tight. Is that fair?
Hold on, Black Star over what?
Over Super Tight from UGK.
No, we should be comparing the Black Star to the Do You Want More by the Roots.
No, that was 95.
Oh, shit. Hold on, so.
There's always discrepancy with that. I don't know. That might be one of those incognito situations where it's like some of them were pressed in 94 and it came out in 95. So,
right. Okay, that's fine. Keep going.
Let's see. I'm picking Still Standing over Super Tight. You want to put Goody Mob up against Super Tight? Like
that's fair. You're right. I mean,
I'm putting Lauryn Hill up against Illmatic. How about that?
Still losing. Still losing.
Yeah,
don't want no smoke.
That's losing. Let's see.
Puff and puff.
I'm trying to see what El Nino should go up against. Blowout Comb? That's not fair to Blowout Comb.
I was thinking maybe Funknified by the Brat. You didn't bring that up. You didn't bring up the Sunrises in the East by J. Rue the Damager. You get what I'm saying? It's too much in
the
94.
Sunrise in the East, I was thinking Gangstar, but they had an album, so I thought that
Gangstar had an album that year. That's what I'm saying. What you got beat-wise for Living Proofs? Group Home.
400 Degrees. How about that?
Lab Cabin, California. No, that's 95. Lab Cabin, California is 95. That shit was dope. Lab Cabin, California is highly slept on.
You want to see what 96 was like?
No, I know 96 like the back of my hand. That was my fall
this is
in love
what
year.
I got in the picture. We got All Eyes on Me. We got It Was Written. We got Reasonable Doubt. You got Iron Man. You got ATL. You got Machiavelli. You got Philadelphia Half-Life. You got Stakes is High. We got Beats, Rhymes, and Life. Riding Dirty. The Coming. Muddy Waters. Hardcore. The Score. Hell on Earth. And Nocturnal, and I'm sure there's some other things left out.
It's like getting Pimp Slap. It's like getting Pimp Slap with a bunch of classics.
Yeah. Mad Max with the super chat says, to be honest, just looking at the list, I'm taking 96. That Machiavelli album, Pac dropped, has aged amazing. Plus, you got It Was Written, aged amazing. Reasonable Doubt, and All Eyes on Me. That's too much. Yeah, the Score. We're not even mentioning that. People not even mentioning ATLiens.
ATLiens?
You know, a lot of people feel like ATLiens is Caz's best album. You know, and I mean, I don't feel that way, but
it's a classic.
It is. It is. It just came out in a very, very heavy year. Do you think? I know you talk about the production on Reasonable Doubt. How well do you think Reasonable Doubt is aged? And would you say that Reasonable Doubt? Well, all right. Let me ask you this. What 3 Jay-Z albums, in your opinion, have aged the best?
I don't know if I could parse that out right now because that wouldn't be fair to him and his catalog to just answer that off the top of the head. Because I would really have to sit down and go through his catalog again a little bit more. But to the Reasonable Doubt comment, here's how I feel about Reasonable Doubt is that when I was younger, because of how groundbreaking it was, like when I was in college at Greensboro, at UNCG, this is 19... You have to understand some of this stuff that we're calling classic now, it hadn't aged like this yet. Like some of the stuff was fresh, like Aquemini, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, Capital Punishment, all that stuff, Moment of Truth, it was still fresh. We were still playing that when I was going to college. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So my top 5 around the time when I was about 18 was Illmatic, Ready to Die, Southern Playalistic, Reasonable Doubt, and the Purple Tape. You have to understand, Life After Death had already came out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Aquemini had already came out. You know, Volume 2 had already came out. Volume 1 and 2 had came out. Matter of fact, Volume 3 came out. Jay was working. Volume 3 came out by the time I went to college. I was like, he came out the summer before my 10th grade year. By the time I was a freshman in college, he was on album number 4. So he was at work.
He was working.
He was working. He got classic stuff all through there. That's what I mean. It's hard to say.
And you know what? And it's funny you say that, but the way he worked made Reasonable Doubt feel older than it actually was.
So this is what
You
I'll
know what I
tell
mean?
you
Like in
is that
2000, it felt like, yo, man, this dude is a vet, but it's like only 4 years in.
So how about this? Here's what I would tell you. Of those 5 albums that I've named, the only one of those albums that the only albums that held in my top 5 were Illmatic and the Purple Tape. Southern Playalistic, Ready to Die, and Reasonable Doubt all slid back to various places. I think Southern Playalistic probably took the furthest slide though, because if I was ranking it out, I would still have Ready to Die as a top 15 rap album all time. Maybe top 10, depending on how you look at it. I would still have Reasonable Doubt in my top 20 to 25, but I don't know quite where I would have Southern Playalistic being objective.
I want to say something
on a personal
about
level,
that.
still top 5, but on an objective level, probably somewhere closer to 40 or 50. So Southern Playalistic was probably my top 5 album from my youth that fell back the furthest, but that has a lot to do with AT Aliens and Equipment.
Exactly. I was gonna say that. Let me get to these super chats. Inspector said 96 hip hop was as classic as the 96 NBA draft. Great draft. One of the best. What I was gonna say, man, when you said it like that, and I was thinking the same thing before you even said it, a lot of where we slid Southern Playalistic to has a lot to do with who the group became after the fact. Now, I still got Southern Playalistic ahead of AT Aliens, but there's a lot of people who don't. And Akumina and AT Aliens show us that these guys are a whole different group than that group that we knew from that first album. And saying all that to say, what if they would have done what Black Star did and just put out Southern Playalistic and vanished for 24 years? We will be holding Southern Playalistic higher than we actually do. And so when you go out there and follow it up, and you go out there and make an album, I don't think AT Aliens is better, but I think that they're better on AT Aliens, right? And Akumina is clearly better. And so when you do those things, the debut album or whatever, you kind of put it in context. And we never got an opportunity to put the Black Star album in context.
Well, okay, so there's a couple things. Musically, I would submit to you that production-wise, I don't feel like AT Aliens or Southern Playalistic that there's any true difference production-wise. They're both brilliant in different ways for different reasons.
You said in Southern Playalistic and AT Aliens?
Yeah, production-wise. Like, I would put them on comparable levels for different reasons, though. Like, the things that I love production-wise about AT Aliens, I love the drums. I love the boom bap and the hip-hop initiative of it. You know what I'm saying?
I love the live instrumentation of Southern Playalistic. I think that's Southern
what I was about to. I'm about to say, I love the instrumentation and the experimenting that's going on Southern Playalistic.
I was gonna give the experimentation to AT Aliens. I think that
no. I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. So when you're saying experimentation, it's like experimentation on what? Because that's the album where they're on some rap shit, Mike.
Extraterrestrial is
that's the only song that's really like that, where they're experimenting like that, though. That's what I mean. The rest of it is really on some rap shit. Outside of that, Extraterrestrial and him doing the humming thing on Millennium, you know what I'm saying? That's the experimental part of that. Southern Playalistic, for a Southern rap album to sound that funky and that street at that time, part of why I love it so much is because it encapsulates a time in the early part of the 90s in Atlanta on a street level that you don't hear really anywhere else in terms of how good it sounds production-wise. So that's what makes it special, because they immediately switched their ethos, so none of the other albums sound street like that.
You're right.
And so that's what makes it so classic to me in a lot of ways. But some of their best moments, like their Outcast moments, there's more of their Outcast moments on AT Alien. Southern Playalistic is like a highlight reel.
I feel like Elevators is experimental too.
Maybe. I
especially
mean,
when you
me and
think
you,
of
your mama
where
and your
they
no. That just
were.
sounds like that sounds like some Southern player shit, Mike. Me and you, your mama and your cousin
I mean,
too.
I guess the production style, it was like this was a this was a far cry from what the first album was. I think the
Oh,
fact that
fuck.
they just totally flipped the script was experimental in itself.
Well, that's part of the degree of difficulty points with AT Aliens, where it kind of balances out. It's like, look how they flipped the script and did so fucking good at doing it. It was really good how they did it.
I know you said something about the Black Album being your favorite. What was your you like it more than the Blueprint? I think you said right.
No, I consider the Blueprint to be like the highs of the Blueprint are higher, but from beginning to end, I enjoy listening to the Black Album more. I do.
I feel like listen, I'll admit that the Black Album is better than American Gangster, but I actually enjoy American Gangster more.
Mm.
It's weird, right?
I
Because
mean,
you
yeah,
know, I,
I think those are the nuances about. That's what I mean when you're talking about specifically about how his catalog is aged. It's like, well, I feel like that the Blueprint and Reasonable Doubt are appropriate timepieces too. I don't love how some of the production aged on Reasonable Doubt, but I mean, it's hard. Nobody talked like that before, so it's like when you go back and listen to it, you remember it's like, man, this is the first guy to drop the subject verb and the predicate for this rich nigga rhetoric like this in detail.
yeah,
It wasn't I make big monies, I drive big cars, everybody knows me. It's like I'm a movie star. He got to the nuances behind that whole bar and that whole motif. You know what I'm saying? He
right.
lets you in. Like nobody lets you in like that. Not even G Rap. Because like here's the thing about it. G Rap lets you in, but he lets you in on like all the aggressive and all the dangerous and exciting stuff that you wanted to hear.
I love the vocabulary too on Reasonable Doubt, and the fact that, and you know, I don't know if he did this by design, but the fact that Jay Z never rapped like that ever again is what makes Reasonable Doubt that much more classic. It's like a fine wine or something that they're never gonna make again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that he, to some degree, a lot of that is like he said, dumbing down his lyrics to double his dollars. But I think a lot of that also is to preserve that piece of work. Like you're never gonna get that Jay Z again, like bar for
No, you're
bar,
not.
lyric for
Because
lyric.
here's the reality. When you're that great and you make something great like that, it's so hard to do it again that you are better off venturing into something else. Like, well, just to the Jay thing, right quick. This is what I mean. Like, when he's talking on dead presidents, like you had never heard nobody talk like that. I dabbled in crazy weight without rap. I was crazy straight. Partner,
Yeah,
I'm still spending money from 88. Two shots, close range, never touched me. Divine intervention.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, you're like, what? You're like, hold on, what? Like, when he's sitting up here, the way he's describing his lifestyle on politics as usual, no, it was different. It felt vulnerable.
Yeah.
Ain't no stopping the champagne from popping the draws, from dropping the law, from watching. I hate him.
I feel
It's
like
like
he
when he
really
said
let
I
us
hate
in
them,
though.
you felt like he hated them. Like it was real. It was different. Nobody had ever hit you like that before. That's always going to be timeless.
I think he let us in though, and you're right. It's
Yeah.
those timeless themes, and I think that that's another reason why we love the Blueprint so much is because he hit us there with songs like "Song Cry" and thing, and you know,
Well,
"Heart of
let's
the
look at
City."
it.
And
Reasonable Doubt and The Blueprint are the most highly regarded albums, but they have the most timeless things on them. Because even listen to
yeah,
the themes on Reasonable Doubt. Can't knock the hustle. Politics as usual. Brooklyn's finest. Feeling it. Can I live? This is hustler rhetoric
yeah,
shit. Can I live?
yeah. No,
Cashmere
definitely.
thoughts. Regrets. Bring it on. This is
I love
this
"Bring
is
It On."
that's what I'm saying. But just listen to the songs. Like listen to the evils.
You know, I think I love American Gangster so much because I love Reasonable Doubt so much, and I feel like American Gangster is almost like a I don't want to say a part two to Reasonable Doubt, but it's like it's him revisiting that world from a different perspective and vantage point where it's like, no, I'm here now, and this is me talking on this stuff.
I see. I still felt like he did it. It's just like I don't know. He found different ways to do it, and that's what I
Yeah.
always admire from him. Like he would give you a week ago on Volume 2, but then he would give you Dope Man on Volume 3.
I never liked Dope Man. A Week Ago is
You know what?
actually
You
one
just
of
don't
my
like the
favorite.
beat. He's great on Dope Man.
I think that A Week Ago is my personal favorite song on Volume 2. Ryan Gillum with the super chat says Illmatic and between Illmatic and Aquemini, which album would y'all say become more influential? Well, influential is Illmatic. Honestly, man, as highly as I regard Aquemini, the influence factor is very
That's what
low.
hurts it. No, that's what hurts it up against the other classics of its ilk, actually. And what I would submit to you is that a Southern bias thing? Quite possibly, yes.
Well, I think that To Pimp a Butterfly is largely Aquemini influence, but the fact that Aquemini didn't influence a lot after it immediately and is regarded like that, they don't really put it out there like that. People will say that To Pimp a Butterfly is influenced by Tupac, but no, that's a Kumini influence right there.
It can be both. It can be poetically inspired by Tupac and musically inspired by Outkast.
Okay. DJ Bruce Almighty with the super chat says, I turn on Can I Live? I'm on in the car and just close my eyes. That instrumentation is crazy. Yeah, shout out to Irv Gotti, man. Great record. I love the production on there, and I know you say it's simple and it's just a loop, but
Hold on.
it
Listen.
it
This is what I'm
encompasses everything.
But what's special about it is him is really what I was trying to say. When he says stuff like, we don't lease, we buy the whole car as you should. I was like, oh, that's what we're supposed to be doing. Nobody was talking like that, Mike.
Jay-Z's always been telling us what to do, man.
Right. It's like, yeah, it's like that. No, that's what I mean. The insightfulness about how he was living.
Leroy Green said, "Dope Man is incredible."
Meet me at the crap tables by the one that starts a G up. This way no fraud, Willie pressing, gambling, they re-up. Yeah. And we can have a pleasant time sipping margaritas. It's like, oh, that's how he's living? Nobody was talking like that.
No, Jay Short with the super chat says, I think Jay being older on Reasonable Doubt gave him more depth. Definitely.
Yes, he was 27, 26, 27. Yeah, he was older than these dudes, and he was later than these dudes. These dudes were on album number 2 and were 2-3 years younger than him.
Man, Leroy Green said Dope Man's incredible. I think that's a stretch.
It's pretty.
Y'all like Dope Man like that? I need to go back and listen then. I mean,
the beat is really, you know what? The beats on Volume 3 held some really great moments from him, from being really, really special moments. And Dope Man is probably that moment that should have been more special had the beat been better. And not like it wasn't good, but it wasn't up to par with the bars.
I think that the production on Volume 3 is, it's one of his weaker production outputs.
Yeah, the beat selection on there wasn't stellar. He was definitely riding a wave of a lot of success and trendy beats that didn't hold up well.
Pop for Rock is awful.
Like the things that you do with Mariah Carey, that sounded so much better. Listen, that sounded so much better. My homeboy Trio follows us. Shout out to Trio. His family's down in Florida. Me and Trio went to college together. I remember him playing The Things That You Do in his Altima when we was in Greensboro. And it knocked so much harder and sounded so much better when I was like 19 years old, Mike.
Man, I didn't. No. I didn't like it then. I was like, no.
No, it just sounded better in the whip. It's like when I play it now, it's like, man, I don't believe I used to ride with this in the whip with the homies.
Nah, man.
But it was Jay.
That was those Rough Rider Volume 2 beats.